Only microphone. Oh, I connected to the network. Awesome. It's a really cool game. That's why I come back to it all the time. Also, I think I'm gonna start collecting games now because I haven't, like, since I was a little kid. It's gonna be cool. I'm gonna collect something. I have like one Super Nintendo game in my closet. I'm gonna try to see if I can build up a lot of games, and then get a whole bunch of different stuff. It'd be really cool. Play the game. We're gonna come up with a topic. How's it going, viewer? If you want to message me, you can. I'm gonna go with dog tags. My dog tag gonna be, my favorite's green, so yeah. Let's go with a cool looking thing. It's got a skull on it. Cool. And title is earning the medal. Yes. Nice. Awesome. Earning the medals. Cool. So, alright. We're gonna play this game. It's gonna be Titanus, and we're gonna go to campaign. Select that chapter. I'm gonna go with Ada Wong. It's the hardest one, and it is that a prelude? I think this is awesome. Okay, cool. I haven't played this. All right. Let's see here. There is a thing that I wanna do. It's called coming up with a topic. Hopefully I will get to that thing that I want to get to. So please just bear with me. Is this the whole? Oh, I think this is might be the credits. I just went through the credits. I think I just went through the credits. I might have to go back and... It's the credits, probably. And, alright. I'm gonna get some water, and, probably should have got some water first. You know, I'm gonna do Leon's thing, because I like Leon's, whole thing. Look, it's a sentence. It's probably, it's a checkpoint. All right. I come back to this, but it's really cool. I like it.
Come on. It's not over yet.
And what's the topic I'm gonna come up with?
Hang in there, Helena.
Oh.
I'll only slow you down. Just go.
You're not getting off that easy. Come on.
Good job. Teamwork.
After all we've been through, it'd be a waste to give up now.
Jet. Mini games. Yeah. Repetition. It kind of leads your eye. It kind of makes you learn things on a certain scale or a certain or at a certain pace.
Let's try this way.
The way that the video games
Almost
kind of
through
lead
this.
your eye. I've noticed a lot that the video games that I've played have constantly had the bright colors and mostly it's like, it's weird though, because
Let's take a break. There's gotta be a first aid kit in here somewhere. Makes me sick seeing good soldiers die like this.
Leon, are you there?
Hunnigan,
Good to hear you're okay. Where's Helena?
she's not doing too good. She needs medical attention.
Do you have any herbs left?
A few, but I'm not sure they'll help.
Okay, listen. Just follow my instructions.
Hold on, Helena. Too many good agents have died here today. You're not getting added to that list.
Leon.
a lot of times when video games lead your eye,
Damn it, out of ammo!
son of a bitch.
Can't let your guard down for a second.
Awesome.
How do you feel?
I think I'm gonna be okay. Thank you.
Leon, what are you doing? You need to get out of there, now.
We're heading to the quad tower.
What? No, it's too dangerous.
There are BSAA agents there with survivors. I can't abandon them.
Alright.
Got more bullets. Yep.
I'll direct you through the safest route.
Thanks, Hunnigan.
I've sent over the field guide to your PDA. You can always refer to that in a pinch.
Let's see. The way that this game kind of leads your eye, or makes you want to do something, or makes you want to go into it to a certain place because of the kind of emergency that's all around you, or the emergency that's simulated all around you, obviously. You kind of want to
What the hell?
you want to a lot of times people build a narrative on what they think a game is about, or what they, I mean, or what they think a game is going to be about.
Hunnigan, can we make it to the tower this way?
Yes, just keep moving in that direction.
Terrible.
Coming out of the woodwork.
I'm terrible at this game. I've not played this in so long. What, you son of a bitch. Come on, let's go. There it is. Fucking jets flying on top of us. That would never happen, though, because of us. The jet would. How's it going, viewer? If you want to message me or have a discussion, you can. Shit, I'm going the wrong way. God damn it. Okay. And building on that narrative, a lot of people believe that that narrative should give you a son of a bitch. I think that people don't realize that narrative, it leads your eye as well. There is a way that people have used their own games as advertising pieces for.
Damn it! I can't bring her up.
I think the narrative itself that you need to look at, or need to look towards, or try to realize is reality. Shit. Son of a bitch. Did she get bit? God dang. Hold on. I think the way that people themselves decide that they're going to play a video game is the way that people have made the game to be played. Especially in this game. There is no open sandbox stuff or anything like that. People decide that they're going to build a market. And once they build that market, or build that market of people that are that want that certain thing, or that have seen a certain thing in action and want that because
you all right?
Yeah.
I think
You got it.
I think as you build through a
Something doesn't feel right.
I think as you build through a number of different things, or a number of different different games, you can start to kind of realize the narrative that games are trying to put on you. State of emergency, where
Back for more.
I played it. That was awesome. That's the prelude, and now we're gonna go into campaign, and we're gonna go to chapter select. I think we're gonna go with I know how horribly hard it is to play as Leon, but I know that I haven't beaten Ada yet, so but I also know that Ada is really hard. Jake isn't as hard, but it's pretty hard anyways. At least, but Leon has the best kind of things. We'll go with port area. And we go single. I think the biggest thing when a person designs a game front and back is how can this game completely make a narrative on itself, as far as a good game goes.
Things just got bad.
As far as a good game has been around, or
Chris, listen to me.
I need you to rescue 2 hostages from an underwater oil field. Agent Sherry Birkin and Jake Mueller.
Robert Wesker's son.
Wesker? Chris. He's got antibodies for the C virus. I got it. On my way. Good, thanks.
Leon, wait. There's something I need to tell you. Ada Wong is dead.
Copy. Sherry and Jake need you. Don't let them down.
Are you okay?
Let's just find the survivors and get the hell out of here.
Echo to HQ, can you read me?
And I think that describing and seeing something new with every visit to a game is extremely important. Like seeing that extra dead body.
The C virus in the gas. Looks like the.
We're moving in to search for surviving evacuees.
Wait!
We want to help.
All right, come on. This way! Don't go near the gas.
Don't worry, I won't.
Oh man.
We're taking a detour to the quad tower. Shoot! Over here!
You okay? What's it like out there?
All I can see is a shitstorm, and I don't think that's the half of it.
There's a big narrative sometimes when it comes to people who really want to make a big difference in the game industry, and there's a lot of people who get
Hold on, I'll get it open.
overshadowed, I guess.
Damn it! We gotta go. All right, go.
For the simple fact that some people, I don't know,
Where's our ride?
you gotta make a good product, and
It's just outside. Go.
I think the biggest thing that I have use for in these games is burning alive. Man, I think that there's a huge narrative to games that damn it. I need to be revived. God damn it, Oz. This dynamic is probably not going to work for an actual zombie apocalypse, though. I'd say that since, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that it is that, but in the same sense, I want to think that there is there's a certain dynamic.
All I can see is a shitstorm.
With
I don't think that's the half of it.
We're on our way back to the quad house to check on the evacuees. We got a vehicle out back if you want to hitch a ride.
Or maybe just a certain way that that they tell the story is kind of whack, or
Hold on. Get it open. Damn it! We gotta go! Come on!
I don't know.
Go, go, go!
They have to make the video game kind of like a little bit.
It's just outside.
It's like.
Go!
First of all, you couldn't be able to fire down these corridors. You'd have to make it like you'd have to make you. You have to make do with complete melee weapons all the time. Like, you would not be able to fire any guns on this corridor. It would echo and it would hurt your fucking ears, first of all. It would be like a flashbang grenade in your freaking face. You'd literally like it, the sound would like, it would itself would it's just, I don't know, man. It would there's stuff like in no way would you ever be able to fire down this corridor. Ever. Like, you would never be able to fire down any corridor.
Good work.
Okay. Thanks.
Don't look back! Just go!
All the zombies were gone.
Good luck.
Wait, I gotta heal myself.
All right, hang on. Probably from the missile.
Change of plan.
All these,
Retreat, and
especially
wait
with
for
the
further
helicopter
orders.
and the whole bunch of different things like that. Like, oh my gosh,
Fall
man.
back. That's an order. Damn it.
This is bad.
They're gonna surround us. We gotta go.
I got it!
I think that, moreover, if their senses would be dulled. Their senses would be dulled. Like, if it was an actual situation, like, it would be the vibration of something, or like if you move and create. I don't know. I don't want to say too much in case it actually happens.
This is as far as I can get you. The tower is right up ahead. You two keep going. I'm gonna head back and try to find what's left of my team.
Thank you.
Be careful, all right?
You got it.
Echo team, come in. Is anyone there?
Or maybe I should say enough. It would be better not to run in a zombie apocalypse. It would be better to have a good pace walk. Like, it'd be better not to exert yourself because when you sweat, like, maybe zombies can kind of hear it, I guess. Sweat. Like, or when you give off a stress, you basically, around you, what surrounds you is your what people would call an aura, or like, people give off heat, basically heat signatures, and that heat signature gives off a vibration because of the thoughts and everything going through your mind and all that other different stuff. Through that happening, it's like you're basically giving yourself up by doing too much.
I thought she was dead.
And also, this shotgun would probably be a little more accurate at like 2 feet away. Oh man, I just don't get it though. Also, zombies don't have knives. But also, that's a narrative to say that all those zombies themselves come from an alternate dimension or a hell dimension or something like that. It's just they don't pick up weapons. They don't really retain that information because their bodies themselves have rigor, not just rigor mortis.
Are you all right?
I'll live, but I've got a feeling things are about to get worse.
I don't know. Your body themselves have a bit of rigor mortis. Like it's like your body. Your body gives off this fluid, basically. Okay, and that fluid itself has a smell. But what happens when it gives off that smell is it also gives off a charge. That's the reason why they're able to pick you up on thermal. It's the reason why most of the time that that charge itself is probably what is light, basically, because your body itself, people don't understand that you give off kind of a glow when you're in the dark. Like, no matter what color you are. I'm not saying that that it has an effect, because it doesn't have an effect. You give off this glow, basically, a thermal glow, and when people's senses are dulled, they're able to really tap back into, because that's what happens when sensory deprivation happens. It's like your vision itself is blurred, but think about it like this: you're not blind, but every sound you give off, it's like through sensory deprivation, people have learned that they themselves have, I don't know, like, oh man, it's hard to explain because it sounds so far-fetched, but I don't know. And I'm talking about this like as in, okay, awesome. Alright, so through a certain aspect of sensory deprivation, oh shit, I have no bullets left, and I have no stamina. Gotta get back. Alright, got another incendiary grenade. Bullets. It's awesome. I gotta bullets. Okay, I gotta do my menu. Bring in my menu. What's the menu? Okay, I gotta combine these with red and then combine those. Yay! Okay. It's hard to think about when you're actually going into it, but god damn it. It's hard to think about when you're actually going into it, but zombies themselves, you would actually understand what people would call a sensory amplification in a different way. People don't understand that they have the pathways to a certain aspect of their own evolution.
Can we make it to the tower this way?
And I think that's the reason why people themselves don't understand that the belief in death is what causes death. The belief that there's some far-off land or some far-off place that's going to fix everything for you. Yeah, it's not real. Like there's no other place that's gonna do anything. Or far off land, like Never Land or anything like that, like believing in something like that. I never really believed in it, I just thought that I was entertained by it. Because believing in a fairy tale can kind of, it can get your but also understanding that there is some sort of place that you go to express yourself. That there's a as an expression room, like there's, or an expression place, like there's a happy place. It's not something that someone else decidedly makes for you, but through realization of self and realization that through realization of self and through manipulation of my own reality.
Over here! Get in!
Through realization of self and through manipulation of my own reality, or inside my own head, I'm able to construct a formulated reality that
I can't bring her up. Come on.
that makes me, I think I don't have a fantasy land that I'm supposed to go to that makes me happy. I do like, that,
Hold on!
there comes a time in every person's life when he just has to realize that, that reality itself sets in. And no matter what that reality is, you have to realize that through realizing something, though you're realizing anything, the realization of that fact is nothing to someone else.
You all right?
that thing that makes you able to go through the day and to build on top of what your character already is.
Something doesn't feel right.
To be able to make sure that there's no end to it, so to speak. There's no end credits. There's no... And that's what I think people have to realize about this entire game. Or this entire reality. Because there are certain aspects of a reality that could be
Back for more.
people don't understand that
I know what you did. Ada! You disobeyed me. You took Wesker's son away! Use that bastard's blood to make the virus stronger!
Hope you got friends on the other side. Because no one's gonna miss you here.
Yep, I died. Dead. This game sucks now. I can't play it anymore. I'm already at 48 minutes. I can't do it. I'm gonna stop playing video games a lot. I think when I was younger, I never really had the concepts ready for me. I never really had the concepts of what video games actually were when I was younger. But now that I realize that there are farted.
Oh boy.
And also this is like, there's not enough material in the human body for you to be able to make this entire structure. To me, this entire video game sounds like something that someone literally made up in a dream. Man. There's literally no way that an entire person could turn into a T-Rex. No way. There's literally no freaking way. There's no way. I just shoot them in the eyeball. Even though really weird though. God damn it. Oh, that's so cool. It's so cool. You did a great thing. There's no way, because it's scientifically impossible. This game makes no sense. This game makes absolute. Got it.
Hell happened. Get in.
Glad to see you're safe. Speed up!
Going as fast as I can!
Here he comes. Get ready.
There's no way that a virus could make that big of a thing. Also, like, there's no way.
Just stay focused. We can take him.
Stay focused, we can take him. This game makes no sense whatsoever. Like, not as in like, it makes absolutely, it's nonsensical in a fashion that brinks on insanity. It's like the Matrix. It's like, that's what it is. It's like fighting a dinosaur, oh, I died. You know what gets to me the most about this whole thing, about this whole process of me realizing how much of a terrible game this is? I realized that I play terrible games sometimes. And so do a lot of people. We've been blinded and put blinders on for a very long time about what a really good game actually is. But understandably so, I think that people themselves oh man, I can't even think about it because it's just, the more imaginative somebody actually is, I guess, comparatively speaking to someone who's not as imaginative, the aspects of living every day, the aspects of living every single day as you should, or as you think you should, I think that there's one aspect that no one ever thought of. Is that what if disease itself was built out of thinking negatively. And not just thinking negatively, but actually following through with those negative thoughts. Creating what you would call your reality. I just farted again. There are people out there that would have you believe that it takes no amount of effort to be able to go up there with scientists and do the same things. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of practice, and and it takes a lot of expertise. You can be there with that same person and be like, hey, that person, you know, that thing you did there was just really cool. The thing you tried to do there and tried to make was just, oh my goodness. You made so much money. You made so many things. But then you decided to go make a game like this. One that says you are dead instead of game over. Really wanted to give it a go, as far as like, it's just like man, that amount of effort to be put into this game, to be able to say that there are a bunch of mini games on top of mini games, to be able to throw you into situations where you wouldn't normally react a certain way if you were there on, it's supposed to simulate emergency, but and what can I say? What can I say about a game that has a T-Rex that you have to fight, that's made out of literal ribs? What can I say about a game over screen that literally that really hammers it in? Bugs that turn into other bugs that are cloaked by other bugs. Every ounce of all of the bosses on this game insinuate that there is a darker or deeper dimension inside or within our own living space, which would insinuate hell. But unfortunately, that doesn't exist. If it did, then it'd be moving so much that no one in the natural realm of thinking or even believing would ever be able to grasp the concept of how much friction there is down there, of how much that it would liquefy the bone structure of a human being. So much so that if, oh man, I'm just saying there's no hell. I know it for a fact. I just know. I know it for a fact, like a fact, not a factoid, a fact, that there's no hell, there's no such thing as heaven, unless it's a ship that people are beaming themselves up to. There's no such thing as any amount of heaven or any amount of hell. None of that. There's no dimension where everything is completely abundant unless you yourself are going through the action of it's like the only notion that heaven and hell actually existed is if that's the way that zombies themselves are portrayed, as a person who feels as though that their energy must leave their matter and go on to another thing, to another plane of existence. Then you'd realize that literally you'd be inside of yourself. You'd be inside of yourself, existing within a zombie or zombie-esque sort of body that is either in a deep sleep or is in an altered state. So that altered state would relinquish neural pathways to I'd say, what's the word, sensory deprivation, or what's the word, believing that ghosts are real. People don't understand this and don't understand a lot of things, but they don't realize that ghosts aren't real. It's their own thought patterns in some cases that give them the reflexes of them, like, say for instance, they decided that they were going to go to sleep in a certain form or fashion. Like they were going to sleep with their arm tucked underneath their pillow for a while. The next time you go to sleep, you have a reaction, okay? I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm just going to keep talking about this because your arm itself is a reflex. Like to say for instance you have a flinch. If you get hit by something or nudged by something or hurt by someone, that reflex is to stay away from that person as much as possible. And if that ever were to ever happen again, or if you were ever actually in that situation ever again, you would have a reflex to be like, oh no, I don't feel like it. You would, what's the word, you would build up a scar tissue inside of your own gray matter, and that scar tissue itself would build on something that you think is going to happen. But if you think that thing is going to happen, then that's what's the word, to say, there's no such thing as time travel, okay? Never. There's never been anything as such thing as time travel. If you've seen the same thing over and over again, through your dreams or through a recurring dream, it means that thing has happened to someone or something out there that you yourself have either attached to, or your memory of being there as you were younger is stringed along in the possibility that you might be there again, and then your brain itself creates a false memory. It creates a false memory that itself could be interpreted as the future. That in itself predicting the future within that whole realm of thinking means is what you believe, what you think dictates your future. So when you go into that future or a possibility of that future, when that possibility happens, you're like, oh my God, I had deja vu. That thing might have happened in a dream of some kind that I had, because I've been here before and I created a simulation within my own brain to be able to understand or be able to think about what I would do in a situation afterwards. Because our own brains, as we go through certain aspects of what we feel or what we think, they create simulations. So within our own brains is what we would consider heaven. Experiencing the survival of actual life and experiencing the survival of everything that we ourselves see is hell. The survival, the grind, the everyday, the things we have to do, the things we're supposed to do to be able to make it to the next day. And things, sometimes we aren't able to make those things happen. And those things themselves come back on us, and we ourselves are, sometimes you have to go through hell to get to heaven. It's like you basically starve to death to go to a place inside your own mind. But once you realize that you're inside that place inside your own mind, you have to use the neural pathways to be able to get back to the way that things were before. So basically, I think that you're basically, the more you live, the more people think you oxidize, or that people think your cells expand. Understandably so, the only reason why your cells are expanding is because you're mimicking the universe. Because you're feeding from the universe. The only reason why those cells would expand inside of you is if you would be eating things when they're too hot or too cold or undercooked or anything like that. But within those realms of speaking, when you eat things or drink things that aren't of extreme temperature, your body doesn't oxidize as much. But that's not the reason why I'm trying to say this, because that's the one thing that religion kind of got okay right, is if you eat things at a certain temperature, or if you eat things when their corpuscles are at a certain temperature, then that's probably the best course of action, because it reduces viruses, and it also reduces what people would actually call microbials, because microbials themselves can build inside of your own body. Okay, they can cause infections and actually cause cancer, because once it attaches onto a cell, it mimics that cell. It doesn't exactly go through your digestive system, but it attaches itself onto a piece of your digestive system, kind of like a tapeworm almost. So that's what it does. It makes you think that you are hungry all the time, and you keep on getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And the reason why you're getting thinner and thinner and thinner is not because of some other dimension. It's because the food inside of your body is constantly being sucked out. The what's the word? Your body itself is trying to block an immunity, or is trying to build an immunity towards something. So it doesn't digest the food, it just ejects the food sometimes. So when it ejects that food, okay, you won't exactly digest it. It'll go straight through your system, because it'll think that every ounce of your body needs vitamins extremely quickly to fend off whatever bacteria or microbe is destroying your body. This in itself is this game in itself is like a big F-bomb, because it feeds into the aspect of, I don't know, and it was good when the time came for it, I guess, somewhat. And it's just, you can't really judge a game from everything that it does, or the fact that people think that there are some sort of like, oh, there's going to be some sort of like thing you're doing, like there's just like absolute it's like, if for every frame of when he's in this game he is a different person, it would seem more plausible, but also in that same sense that every person within that line was trained to the fullest extent of the person, the same person that you see talking. So basically you're watching a complete and utter just shoot 'em up movie. Also too, if you take out all the back audio, it just sounds like two people having sex. Because they want you and lead you into associating things with sex. It's like two people who have a safe word, or they yell to each other, and because they're really into it, which is really annoying. Also the T-Rex, dumb, because there is in no way that a person themselves can mutate to a certain aspect or ratio of meat or muscle that is able to pick up or have any sort of eyeball claw face that decidedly eats you and stuff. So that's where I leave this game, and I realize how crappy of a game it is, because sometimes I really don't pay attention to what I'm actually playing sometimes. And I really think I should pay attention more to what I'm actually doing. Because I actually looked onto a bunch of different websites and saw a bunch of different cool stuff that I actually like and I actually really support. And like a keyboard with nothing but escape keys for the F1 through F12 and all the alphabet keys. Yeah. That's the kind of stuff that I like, and I have to really think about where I'm gonna be heading next time I delve into this. And I'm still gonna keep the game because it's gonna be fun to make fun of whenever I'm either inebriated or with my friends. We get to poke fun at it. But yeah, it's really hard to it's really hard to think about the aspect of where you really want to put something, or where you really want to be when a situation itself decidedly goes awry. But you're never going to run into a T-Rex. Ever. Because those are dead. Because it was evolutionarily stupid. It had really short arms and extremely long legs. It couldn't pick anything up and eat it. And parts of me think that it was chemically castrated. Because of the amount of idiotic shit it would eat. And you have to start realizing the amount of badassery or anything like that you thought of when you were a kid with the amount of information that you could learn from it. The amount of things that you could actually get from it. And people don't ever stop thinking about things whenever you're actually thinking about things. Don't shut things out of your mind. And I shut things out of my mind when I was a young kid because I guess in my own mind I was leaving room for other things, I guess, or letting wisdom flow through me, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I was trying to be a little bit of a sort of thing. But that's where I stop now. I've grown up a lot when it comes to stuff like this. The only reason why I play some games is because literally out of sometimes not irony, but just like variables, I guess. I don't know. You know? And I would also like to think that there is something out there that is, what's the word? That has that has me in mind. Not a heaven, so to speak. Not a hell. Not somewhere where everything is absolutely abundant. But someone who thinks about me as much as I would think about them. That's pretty much the only thing that I realized that these games were trying to get me to even think about, is the fact that if I'm in one of these situations where there's a T-Rex that's made out of ribs and I can't eat him, then would I want to be with someone, or would I want to be by myself? And I'd much rather have somebody have my back in that situation, and I'd much rather them be someone that I can think about sexually, because if I were to eventually die in that situation, then I would want to go out and constantly fantasize about that person, that woman. I don't know. But also too, I don't think that moment is ever going to come, because I don't believe in it, and I don't believe in those words, DEAD, because it just looks like a smile, a trident, an acute angle, and another smile. A lot of times, people don't realize that the way they live invites the things that they think will destroy their lives. And I'm probably going to trip over some paint at some point, or my shoes, because shoes and stuff. I'm not trying to say that I'm a part of anything, and that's what I realize that I don't want to be. I don't want to be a part of something that I get led upon a string, or that I get put into a category where people tell me exactly how to think and feel. But in the same sense, would I allow those people to exist? Yes, I would, because in some ways, shapes or forms, there are people out there that wouldn't know any better, but would actually feel comfortable in those situations. That they themselves would like to be not led upon by a string, or that maybe they wouldn't see that situation like that, like I see it. That they would think that situation themselves, as through themselves, would be a congregation of hands in a situation where they'd be able to high-five each one and be a part of something bigger than themselves, or through a notion be a part of something, be a part of a group that's bigger than themselves. And within that aspect, I think that there are some honorable notions in what people actually go through every day. But there is a terrible game that I'm playing, that you fight a T-Rex and there's dudes with stuff. I grow tired of things that constantly and utterly always think that they're on the new wave, or think that just because they're doing something, they're doing something original. Their pacing may be original in some ways, but not their ideas. And I realized the fact that when I came up with my idea, I was being affected by things all around me. And I realized that the guts and the bare bones of that idea are meant to be relished in, and realized that there are some really good aspects about it. But I also know that those aspects were freaking manipulated and and completely taken out of context in some ways to be, as I see them, sometimes they mimic completely other people's ideas. And through so many different aspects of people themselves coming up with original ideas and coming up with original contexts of movie tropes and a whole bunch of different things to actually learn, there are people out there that have done the job way better than I have. There are people out there that have done the job way better than I could have ever done it. And as far as writing or reading or anything like that, I need more influence, because I need more fuel. I need to be able to take an aspect of something, flip it around completely and utterly, look at it from inside and out, and realize where itself I went wrong on my idea. Because not only is my idea itself what's the word? Even though I came up with it when I was 13, and I was being manipulated by Campbell's Soup, by any sort of thing, by things that I thought were cool, things that I thought were ingenious, and things that I thought were amazingly simplistic. And I realized that there are so many different aspects of what I actually have to learn and make and manipulate inside my own mind to be able to come up with a completely original idea. And I also realized that I'm going to have help, so I'm going to have to wait in order to be able to come up with that idea fully. So, yeah, that's where I'm done. So, have a good day, and you are your own one-man bomb squad, metaphorically speaking. And if forever you think that there's something out there that actually sees your name or has your sort of name, your sort of thing on it, realize that it was made for you sometimes, because sometimes your kind of thinking is brought into an aspect to realize that not only is every idea itself been constituted in different ways, but also too, no one can put a price or a number on the amount of arguments there actually are. No one can. No one can. In absolution. Because there are in no way, there are in every way, there is a typographical number of arguments you can have. There are typographical arguments that you can actually have. But through those typographical arguments, there are so many different ways that people are actually able to depict that typographical argument, that there would be an infinite amount, almost an infinite amount of numbers of ways to be able to make that argument stick and seem independent from the other arguments. So realize that though it's finite, though the world is finite, and though our universe is finite, there are so many aspects of actually what you would call, what you should call, and also whirly durly is the whirly durly from Rick and Morty is the essence of our universe. There is a moment in time. There is an essence to living that people themselves, there is between the third whirly and the third and the second, they made up that part, but the essence of where we sit in our universe and where we sit in our solar system are literally those motions. So that's pretty cool. And I'll leave you with this though. Being that you are a real person, that real person that you believe can have a notion of clearance in accomplishing a task and making sure that task itself gets done and is done until another task comes along. Realize that through every task that comes along, that through every task that you accomplish, you gain experience. You gain that experience. You gain that every single aspect of experience. And through that experience, you're able to go through every single moment in time, no matter what it was, and realize the moments that led you up to a eureka moment, or the moment that led you to accomplishing that task, or making sure that task was able to happen. If you are inside of yourself, or in any way sensory deprived, then you would have the accomplishment, or the aspect of, or the notion of an accomplishment every time you would get to a certain part of your own body. If those aspects or ratios of notions of seeing any sort of prey or predator or foe or friend, wherever given a specific indignant notion of switcheroo or anything like that, or if there were any firing of synapses that sent a notion to your brain to say that your friend was your food, that notion would come in a symptom of fear and a symptom of learned behavior. So seeing as how we ourselves are copies of what our parents are in some ways, not exact copies, but in some ways notions of what's the word, the realization through such an emergency, or someone who has lived through such an emergency, then had a child, and had that child experience some sort of fear, and then associate that with something that they learned inside the womb. Then that child itself could carry a certain, not disease, but a augmentation, or not even a disability, but a mutation, and through that mutation, people would be able to jump higher, or run faster, or in some ways, to say that through breeding and through a certain number of people and generations, people have been able to make sure that they themselves can run faster and get hit harder, and that in itself is a notion that has people reeling sometimes, or even jumping out of their seat because they didn't know that it was ever possible, or they didn't know that anything was ever possible about that. But through that notion, people have to understand that there are scar tissues that happen because of it, and if that scar tissue is mimicked through whatever breeding or whatever people that, or multiplying that anyone does, people have to understand that that fear itself could exist within someone that has never lived that exact utter experience. be careful, be sensitive, and be gentle to people who you think have a certain disability, because that disability could just be a certain aspect of or ratio of them living through their entire lineage, or living through a womb, or through someone themselves that has been changed by LSD or acid or any of those things, and through living a certain ratio of what people would call a realistic aspect of where they sit in the world, they could have the biggest fear of ever falling from that seat of either power or any and go to whatever lengths possible to be able to keep that ratio of what they believe their authority is. People really wish to keep things the same sometimes, in fear of change, in fear of the unknown. But what you have to understand and realize is that as soon as people start getting used to change and understanding that change is, what happens if something changes and no one knows what's going to happen? No matter how many footballs you've thrown, or how many times you've gotten hit, or how many times you've lifted weights, or how many times you've done things to be able to prepare yourself for situations where you might be able to save someone's life or do something that's completely amazing. What situation has you ready for the amount of stress there is on every single person in this entire world that could have ever gone through something, and the amount of stress you have to put on yourself to be able to constitute a relation between the two, or a relation between, in some aspect, to be able to have someone think about the opinion of another person and understand where that opinion comes from. I'm not commending anyone or anything. I'm just saying that it takes an entire amount of complexity to be able to run a country ever so smoothly, even with terrible tweets or memes out this world, or saying that a certain celebrity is an ass, or even caring if that person ever decided to be an ass, or realizing that anything is the way it's supposed to be, without completely and utterly losing your mind. It takes reserve, it takes gall, it does. But in the same sense, it also takes tenacity, and it also takes sometimes an evil mind to be able to constitute that many bad things happening at once, and also within the same territory of that happening, being able to say, well, we have to move on. And in that, I really think that this game is actually revolutionary, even though it's completely stupid and you fight a T-Rex. But also in the same sense, I realize that through that revolutionary thought, that thought itself was given to me by some odd different frames of what I was actually even saying or seeing through this game. There would be no topic of discussion if there were no thing to talk about. There would be no reason for you to be able to build your ideas off something so absurd or so unmatched, I guess, in absurdity, unmatched in its bonkerness. And with that, these are my game therapy rants, and sometimes I'm not playing games when I rant, so game therapy. Thank you for listening if you ever do, and thank you, person, for showing up, even though you left immediately afterwards. Have a good day, and I'm really tired, so you're